ceremony for the class of 2020. I am Kaylee Donnelly, Vice President of the class of 2020. Graduation is a solemn occasion, a special moment in our lives. The officers and members of the class of 2020, thank you for making history today by joining us today to celebrate the graduation of the class of 2020. The class wishes to fulfill its final hour with dignity and pride. Thank you. At this time, we ask everyone to rise for the flag salute and to remain standing for the singing of our national anthem. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, and for justice for all.
None of us have reached this important milestone in our lives independently. For that reason, first and foremost, I want to thank God for always giving me the strength to push onwards. I want to thank the Board of Education members, distinguished guests, Superintendent Mr. Cloutier, the high school administration, faculty, and staff for not only teaching us most of what we know today, but also doing their best to make up for all the senior class has lost. Thank you, healthcare workers listening virtually, for your service. I want to thank my parents. Dad, thank you for always being my most supportive #1 fan. And Mom, thank you for always believing in me, even during times when I didn't believe in myself. Last but definitely not least, thank you, class of 2020, for making these last 4 years the best of my entire life. Though that might not seem like much of a compliment coming from a 17-year-old. This is crazy. 4 years ago, I was sitting in the bleachers right over there, watching my sister's graduation and looking up with admiration as the class of 2016 valedictorian spoke. Earlier this year, when I was given the same honor, I was racking my brain for commencement speech ideas. I needed inspiration, something unique that has only happened to our graduating class, perhaps something global. And maybe an original speech idea was the only upside of 2020. The brilliant contemporary poet, Kanye, once said, "If you have the opportunity to play this game called life, you have to appreciate every moment." A lot of people don't appreciate their moment until it's past. I want you all to think back to 4 years ago. Yes, back when our biggest problems were facial acne and arguments that were petty, to say the least. No, you know what? Think back to our last winter break. Even then, who could have predicted that a pandemic would consume our senior year? And if you did, I need you to pick my Powerball numbers this week. Now, the more important question is, did we deserve this tragic outbreak that originated in China? To clarify, I'm talking about COVID-19, not TikTok. Do we deserve it? It's funny, when I would tell multiple people about my college rejections and wait lists, they would tell me that I deserved to get in. And I think we can collectively agree that we deserved a prom, senior trip, and a completely normal graduation. Yeah? Yet the only miracle of 2020 was that the universe found a way to make second semester seniors even lazier. But if there's a key takeaway from my experiences in high school, it's that not everything in life will flow exactly as planned. In fact, it usually doesn't. Instead, we should learn to constantly adapt to new circumstances. This is why innovation defeats the status quo and perseverance always conquers talent. What makes us the greatest class in Eastern's history, that's right, I said it, is our clear demonstration of resilience during the most dire of circumstances. And I think we all have to thank our school for training us for spontaneous situations like this one. We all remember the number of times we had to improv speak in Mr. Bound's class. I think it's safe to say that standing on a stool in front of our class after being given a speech topic on the spot is much harder than having to stay home for a few months. And this quarantine experience was certainly easier than completely winging the Scarlet Letter final symposium we were supposed to prepare for. Sorry, Mr. B. Maybe I won't remember every single example of color symbolism from The Great Gatsby, but I will forever have the quick thinking skills I've extracted from English class. And maybe I won't remember every battle from US history, mostly because I was never conscious in Mr. Lindenhofen's class. But I will remember that victory is always possible for those who refuse to give up. Further, every single detail in every course we have ever taken will not matter in a couple years, but we'll always remember that goofy performance of Caesar in Mr. Fulton's class sophomore year, and other cherishable memories likewise. Moreover, Eastern has in many ways taught us major skills for our future careers, to think outside the box, and of course, how to best escape Dr. Tull when you aren't wearing an ID. I think throughout high school, we were constantly in search for the end of our journeys, the day when we could kick back with no worries about classes, the day we could stop freezing in Mr. Friedman's room. Seriously, that heater needs to get fixed. But as this last day, today arrived, I think it's pretty clear that our journeys have hardly begun. It's up to you to decide if that's a good or bad thing. In my opinion, the class of 2020 is a burning embodiment of potential. We have the best athletes, the best writers, best musicians, the best scholars. Maybe not the best drivers, but definitely the best looking group of kids. But seriously, the truth of the matter is that we have a perspective no other class will ever have, hopefully. I typically pride myself on having the most realistic view on life, but as I stand here today, I realize that life is in fact just like a movie. It isn't over until we get a happy ending. Faced with a severe challenge, we're still graduating, regardless of the fact that the bleachers are completely empty. And somehow, with the support of families, classmates, faculty, and friends, we found creative ways to celebrate the little things in life. We face the unexpected. And that's what'll make our class remembered forever. Congratulations, class of 2020.
Friends, family, friends of family, family of friends. It is an honor and a privilege to be standing up here in front of many of you as your salutatorian and looking out on your smiling faces. For real this time. High school has been a radically different experience for every one of us. Some will look back on these years fondly, and some will be content never opening their yearbook ever again. On a personal note, I would like to thank and acknowledge the many amazing teachers who inspired me and taught me about the world and about myself. I am equally grateful for the friends I have come to love and know so well while we were here. See you guys. And a special shout out to my guidance counselor, Miss Latimer, for her counseling and guidance. Together, these people help me to think critically and break out of my comfort zone, to be myself yet strive to improve, and to laugh and appreciate the little things in life. For all of us in the Eastern Regional High School class of 2020, whether through our love for learning, sports, music, theater, or study hall, our time here has forged us into the people we are today. We all emerge from Eastern as more developed and hopefully better versions of ourselves than how we entered 4 years ago. Graduation is supposed to be our goodbye to the first chapter of our lives and the beginning of the next. In a way, it's like shedding the training wheels of our early experiences to ride off into the sunset that is our futures, which is bright and full of promise. However, the end of our high school experiences, along with everything we thought and hoped would be happening during this time, was cut short. Strangely, the quarantine forced us to become more independent as we transitioned to online learning, yet it also locked us away in our homes, unable to taste the freedom that should come with this new stage in our lives. Not only were we not able to go through much of the rituals at the end of the senior year, which most others have been able to do, but we are uncertain about what our lives will be like in the fall as we embark on new adventures. Typically, a graduation speech would focus on personal goals, making best efforts, reaching for the stars, and not letting anything stop us. But we are now, all of a sudden, living in an extraordinary time. Things may never be the same as they were, and when the dust settles and life returns to normal, it may not be the same normal we used to know. What will emerge will be very different in so many ways that we are only beginning to grasp. Much remains to reveal itself. As we enter the next phase of our lives, we must take it upon ourselves to learn as much as possible about who we are and should aspire to be. It will be resilience, creativity, innovation, compassion, kindness, generosity of spirit, and a good sense of humor that will fortify and propel us as we start this new chapter with a commitment to building a better world. It is we who have the longest stake in the society we become, we who are going through our own transition as society's time of transition, and it is we who must lead the way in deciding how our changed society will take shape. Perhaps that will be the great challenge of our class and of our generation. We all have the ability to lead the way to this better world by making good choices and exemplifying good citizenship and strong values. Sometimes being a good leader may mean being a good follower, not as a mindless sheep, but as an honest and informed citizen, one who respects and trusts the laws and guidelines that are put in place in order to promote the general welfare, as it is written in our Constitution. We can also do our best to look out for one another, like I'll scratch your back and you'll scratch mine, from a distance of 6 feet or more, of course. I wear my mask not for myself, but to protect those around me, with the expectation that they will look out for me as well. You get the idea. Let's shape the world in the best way we can, and rise to meet the challenges which we cannot now even imagine. The difficulties we face in reshaping this world will require that we, as a generation, take the lead and draw upon the best within us. The older generations have laid the foundation upon which we stand. However, now it's our turn. We will build upon that which was done right and learn from mistakes that were made. We will become engaged citizens of the world as we exercise our right to vote and advocate for the causes for which we are passionate. If we choose to use them, our voices will resonate at a time when all of society needs to hear what we think. Right now, we stand perched on the precipice of the rest of our lives, which is defined by both uncertainty and near limitless potential. My message to all of you is to take what we've learned here at Eastern and use that as a guide into the unknown. What happens next is largely impossible to predict or control, but what we can control is how we choose to respond. We must ask ourselves, as we take each step along our respective paths, am I willing to roll up my sleeves and get to work? Will I allow hope to prevail as I stand tall in the face of adversity? After every experience, every challenge, every hardship I've faced so far, why let this stop me? Everything in life is what you make of it, and as we have seen for ourselves, nothing should be taken for granted. You can choose to be open to inspiration and growth. You can choose to live and abide by the strong moral and ethical code that our upbringing has imbued in us. You can choose to change the world. That may feel daunting, but remember that you aren't alone. We have parents, teachers, mentors, and most importantly, we have one another. Individually, we are powerful, but together, we are unstoppable. But, if I'm wrong, there's always the class of 2021. Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Lexi Levin, and I am president of the Eastern Class of 2020. I am so honored to be able to speak on behalf of Eastern's graduating class. In preparing for our graduation, I was reminded by something Martin Luther King Jr. once said. We are not the makers of history, we are made by history. March 13th, 2020, was the last time we saw our teachers, the last time we walked the halls of Eastern High School, and the last time we were traditional students. However, it was in that moment that we became made by history. As we grow and experience life, we know that these moments are what made us. We are able to tell generations after us that we are the class of 2020, and they will know exactly what we mean. As a class and as a school, we have learned to come together as a family. In the most difficult of times, we gave each other hope. The Webster's Dictionary defines hope as a feeling of expectation and desire for a certain thing to happen. There are no questions that we hoped school would not be canceled. We hoped that we would attend a prom, and we hoped to share all that is associated with commencement. However, it is hope that brings us here today, flipping our tassels and redefining what hope truly means. The memories we shared over these past 4 years is what built our shared hope. I can remember Spirit Weeks each year when we all hoped that we would win. Even though this dream never became a reality, we still came together as a class and made history. We will go down in the books as probably the only class in Eastern to never win a Spirit Week. But honestly, that's what makes our class so special. However, through the losses and letdowns, we definitely did have some major accomplishments. We were able to create the prom dress fashion show and 3v3 basketball tournament, which were two of our biggest successes over our 4 years at Eastern. As we are here to celebrate Eastern's own class of 2020, I can truly say I have never met such amazing people in my life. As freshmen, we came to school with our new pencils and backpacks, not knowing what these halls had in store for us. But as each day turned to months, we were able to finally find our way without being late, always hoping for the best outcome. And as sophomores, we honestly were just thankful that we were not the little freshmen anymore. We had the confidence to try out for new sports, beat new records, and take those harder classes to hopefully put us above the rest. As junior year rolled around, through the good and bad, we knew that this year would shape us for many more to come. Through SATs and ACTs, through musicals and sports, we all got through the times when maybe we thought we could not. Looking forward, never back, we hoped for the senior year we all always imagined, especially graduating. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s words ring true. We are made by history. And as the graduating class of 2020, our next steps are to create a world that is founded on the hope and imagination of a generation that will be defined by not its failures, but rather its ability to rise up. We are the generation that will be able to tell our kids that we graduated from high school during the pandemic of COVID-19. We are the generation that has a new normal of face masks, hand sanitizer, and social distancing. We are the generation that will be written about for the rest of our lives. With the support of our phenomenal administration, we have been able to conquer the unconquerable. On behalf of the class of 2020, I would like to thank Dr. Toll for always listening to every student's concerns and making sure they are dealt with immediately. I would like to thank all the teachers and coaches for always supporting us and going out of your way to give each one of us the best education possible. On a personal note, I would like to thank the two biggest inspirations and role models of my high school career, Mrs. Pearson Yaus and Ms. DeCourcy. I can only hope that I am as successful in my career as these two role models have inspired me to be. Lastly, I want to give a shout out to my family and friends. You know who you are. I am fortunate enough to have such a strong support team behind me at all times, and I am forever grateful. I look forward to seeing where life takes everyone. Life is taking me to the University of Miami, where I will be studying business. Dr. Toll already told me he would visit, so anyone that needs a warm getaway is definitely welcome. My final message to everyone is to just have hope. We all came to Eastern with blank pages, but left with an award-winning book. Best of luck in all your endeavors and all your dreams. Congratulations to the class of 2020.
Good morning, class of 2020. You look great. It's been a while. It is awesome to see you out here today. At this time, I would like to recognize the members of the class of 2020 that will join the military service upon their graduation or have committed to a career of serving our country. Will these students please stand once their name is called and be recognized? Abigail Bracco. Kirill Charbonneau, Larry Davis, Samantha Knight, Scott Pearson, Abigail Rance, Irene Wren, Michael Robelski, Jaden Santiago, Nicholas Schenk, Nigel Thurston, and Mason Worrell. Thank you. You may be seated. In my official capacity as principal of Eastern Regional High School, Mr. Cloutier, I present to you the class of 2020.
Good morning. This is Eastern Regional High School's 54th commencement, the commencement for the class of 2020, traditionally marking the official closing to the school calendar. This year, in person, it has been delayed, but it was our hope that we would be able to see you today to celebrate this momentous occasion with you. So again, thank you for being here. I'd like to welcome our board members, our dignitaries from our 3 sending districts, and I'd like to especially recognize some staff members that have worked with you for 4 years. Our Educator of the Year, elected this June, Mrs. Tracy Wojden. Mr. Bill Westerby, Vice Principal for the class of 2020. And finally, Mrs. Teresa DeCourcy, your class advisor. One group we are not able to honor today in person is your parents. They have sacrificed very much, including being excluded from this event, but their support and their love over the years have enabled you to grow and develop into our proud graduates. These past months have brought you closer. And I know they miss not being here today. They expressed it very well to me. At this point, I really want to skip to Mr. Susko's part of the speech, which is really about recognizing all of your accomplishments. The 495 members of the senior class sent out 3,000 college applications. After weeks and months of anxious anticipation, colleges and universities from all over the country, and some as far away as China, replied to our students with 1,400 acceptance letters. From Rowan to Rutgers to Ramapo, many of the students will continue their education right here in the Garden State. College is not the only option after high school. Many of our students will be entering the workforce or beginning an apprenticeship for their chosen trade. As Dr. Toll mentioned, 11 of our graduates will be answering our nation's call and enlisting in the armed forces. The class of 2020 took advantages of opportunities that were offered to them. Many of these students are graduating high school with college credits already on their transcript. 45 members participated in our Option 2 program and took college courses as part of their high school schedule. Through our partnership with Camden County College and Stockton University, Eastern was able to award college credit for over 300 college credits this year to our graduating seniors. The colleges and universities that the class of 2020 will be attending next year have awarded these students over $4 million in grants and scholarships toward their education. I also take the pleasure in announcing that generous donors and benefactors from the 3 towns that comprise our district have provided 53 individual awards totaling over $62,000 in community scholarship money to our seniors. These students will be were celebrated at our annual Academic Awards Night that was held on June 24th. There have been many individual accomplishments within this year's class, but the greatest accomplishment has been your resilience and your leadership through these very difficult months and the months ahead. These times call for your class and your generation to help us secure a better world for all of our society. And to finish, in my official capacity as the school district superintendent, I hereby certify that the students of the class of 2020 have completed all their requirements for graduation prescribed by the Eastern Camden County Regional Board of Education and the state of New Jersey, thereby entitled to the state's endorsed diploma. Mr. DeChico, I present to you the graduates of the class of 2020 and request that you confer diplomas upon their recognition in their achievement.
Thank you. Good morning. Congratulations to the class of 2020. On behalf of the Board of Education, I accept the class of 2020 and authorize its commencement. In a few weeks, you'll be leaving for college, starting new jobs, or entering military service. This will be a new chapter in your lives, a chapter that you will create and you will own. Make your choices carefully, make your choices wisely. Congratulations and best wishes. If I may have the following class officers come forward and present the class. Lexi Levine, Cameron Mitnick, Morgan Tiernan, Emma Bittar, and Kaylee Donnelly. Thank you.
Sadish Davadija.
Jeremy Bender.
Avery Saladino.
Yeah, sure.
Adam Saladino.
I know his name.
Eric Dahan.
Brett Bantavolio.
Zaya Taylor.
Jason Finberg.
Tina McGuire.
Matthew Bonomo.
Shruti Dawadi.
Do you have a card with your name on it? Can we print it off?
Jazz Ken Persing.
Ria Shah.
Frank Bauman.
Kelly McRorty.
Marco Valencia.
Andrew Papia.
Dalen Sanders.
Jaden Covington.
Allison Artizabal.
Dorothea Soirva.
Soira Touch. What is it? Saria.
Seth Nayot.
Avi Patel.
Alexander Morgan.
Taylor Hodson.
Brandon Skolnick.
Daniel Steinsaltz.
Ryan Cooperman.
Zach Rosenberg.
Keith Vo.
Matthew Steinsaltz.
Joseph Vasarino.
Jonathan Clark.
Noah Klanuski.
Sanford Zhang.
Haley Alsbrook.
Rhea Gresh.
Courtney Ballman.
Najee Hicks.
Sasha Tudingham.
Gracie Hunger.
Sarah Tuningham.
Shyla Rivera.
Colin Ems.
Madison Tash.
Lucas Russell.
Brendan Connolly.
Zachary Camp.
Christian Delp.
Matri Raval.
Reed Bruner.
Ria Patel.
Vernon Boyd.
Richie Kodo.
Alex Smith.
Seamus Nalty.
Shane Stauffer.
Pratham Desai.
Josh Patel.
Isabella Puglisi.
Robert Meekins.
Anthony Messino.
Harrison Michael Kane.
Meet Patel.
Jeffrey Thomas Brown Jr.
Kirill Charbonneau.
Cole Campbell.
Thomas Johns.
Eric Mount.
Eric Gerard Alves.
Nathaniel Knowles.
Aryan Chakravarti.
Ronnie Twern.
Nikhil Matthews.
Michael Bellaccio.
Ted Drinkwater.
Rohan George.
Jordan Seferetti.
Ava Dahan.
Caroline McCall.
Monel Desai.
Macy Harding.
Alyssa Allday.
Stella Wilkinson.
Aryan Chagardi. I think that's wrong.
Sophia Sinabaldi.
Samuel Portnoy.
Kirsten Clem.
Connor Nicholas Blasberg.
Christopher Zapata.
Matthew Kerr.
Francesca DiColandrea.
Aaron Gillespie.
Kara Heck.
Anna Ziba.
Marissa Robbins.
Angelina Travaglini.
Lucas Prince.
Vanessa Krug.
Shivam Patel.
Julianne Chu.
Nicholas Sampson.
Ria Kadawala.
Shubham Patel.
Ashpreet Kaur.
Sean Jones.
Artie Bala.
Aaliyah Miles.
Kamal Church.
Regina Colander.
Daniel Feliciano.
CJ Hurst.
Tyler Peters.
Marissa Tate.
Jake Truern.
Gianna Miraglia.
Emily Mate.
May Liu.
Tanroop Sandhu.
Tyler Small.
Logan Cohen.
Talon Cliver.
Alan Belizaire.
Giovanni Vaquez.
Mason Murano.
Tanya Abelar.
Cole Williams.
Alessi Kelly.
Erica Sheehan.
Dylan Keogh.
Angelina Calvaloro.
Ava Schubert.
Megan Weiser.
Sarah Lavasser.
Patrick Romano.
Brendan Geary.
Michael Wall.
Aaron Miller.
Sejal Patel.
Diane Myers.
Joanne Lee.
Leah Vazzi.
Aisha Rahman.
Pranay Jaggi.
Karina Nayar.
Joshua Ball.
Lauren Snyderman.
Jordan Hall.
Abigail Koch.
Mike Gotti.
Amanda Curcio.
Shane Gallagher.
Parth Shaw.
Madeline Roberts.
Kellyanne Frett.
Olivia Norcross.
Victoria Lathrop.
Brianna Christine Bowl.
Terrell Lunsted Mitchell.
Amanda Middleman.
Nadish
Connor Neri.
Alexa Nicole DeFulio.
Sarah Sapako Ong.
Faith Sardashni.
Sydney Nicole.
Amy Morin.
Marissa Nisley.
Matthew Brancaccio.
Kayla Shannon.
Taylor Ruiz.
Noah Reed.
Jacob Doan.
Nicholas Bettolini.
Michael Schuneman.
Cornine Curran.
Sean McGee.
I'm trying. I'm bad at this.
Jake Epstein.
Justin Orloff.
Konstantinos Pavlidis.
Niall Scott.
Benjamin Cohen.
Chase Dersham.
Shiv Molly.
Elise Pedisani.
CJ Pallone.
Steven Argentina.
Teresa Schmoose.
Matthew Thomas.
Jessica Goldberg.
Olivia Rose Arculio.
Samantha Cantor.
Zach Davis.
Cole Wren.
Olivia Alves.
John Brodzik.
Danielle Alves.
Kayla Yap.
Simron Cower.
Alexandra Kaufman.
Kaylee Grace Martin.
Allison Mazza.
Oscar Andrews.
Brendan Veit.
Andrew Sasso.
Alexander Cohen.
Nigel Robertson.
Colby Ackerman.
Maurice Howard.
Jalen Soto.
Nicholas Shank.
Lauren Probst.
Adam Hecht.
Zoe McKay.
Jenna Gazecki.
Mark Collini.
Chris Hoel.
Tara Smith.
Matthew Blatt.
Kaylee Braidwood.
Frankie Noble.
Wesley Andrews.
Carly Bradis.
Chelsea Fans.
Meredith Mandala.
Anna DeMacy.
Owen Donahue.
Samantha Frankel.
Jake Fritz.
Riley Fisher.
Callie Modi.
Donald Wong.
Jacob Saphir.
Samuel Zhao.
Jaden Santiago.
Claire Fitzpatrick.
Olivia Kitless.
Carolina Zamos.
Adina Boyd.
Ava Hancock.
Sydney Moore.
Jordan Malmud.
Antigone Antonikakis.
Anna Capri Slack.
Jillian Jasner.
Robert Dwyer.
Abigail Prucci.
Dante DiBiase.
Isaac Matthew Beebe.
Kavya Ramesh.
Kayla Maldonado.
Kendall Jung.
Kimberly Ann Moore.
Kathnia Mack.
Eid Hamad.
Jordan Cazo.
Abigail Bracco.
Sophie Ravitz.
Teddy Oseche.
Chloe Castro.
Hunter McCall.
Zoe Byam.
Michael Mazziata.
Samantha Barron.
Owanafemi Adetanji.
Julia Rothman.
Jenny Lau.
Kelly Pekauskas.
Pauline Mackey.
Sophia Cupid.
Karen Lee.
Sandra Awad.
Aaron Arnstein.
Luke Majet.
Michael Robutsky.
Timothy Ricky Jr.
Xavier Whitcraft.
Joshua Gladstein.
Autumn Daniel.
Dalia Patterson.
Gia Frateroli.
Samantha Garcia.
Jordan Simmons.
Jordan Stroud.
Brielle Benson.
Mira Gupta.
Tiana Stewart.
Larry Davis.
Treasure Yeldell.
Jayla Paris.
Zamaya Coleman.
Anthony Zachariah.
Krista Walker.
Cole Boyan.
Katrina Pino.
Vincent Roostis.
Samantha Knight.
Constantine Roostis.
Yash Baja.
Eve McGlinchey.
Gina Chang.
Chandler Mitchell.
China Brooks.
Noel Scott.
Maria De Souza.
Maria Sarnes.
Dominique Vallis.
Jewel Ash.
Theodore Jake Moose.
Demi Sarnes.
Ethan Trauger.
Anna Green.
Aiden McFadden.
Alexa Shaber.
Anthony Fabiano.
Elena Lestico.
Justin Hernandez.
Jillian Miller.
Ji Cheng.
Lexi Johnson.
Rebecca Merzinski.
Lynn Tran.
Kayla Francis.
Haley Skeens.
Gabrielle Gentile.
Can everyone please rise? On the count of 3, we're going to flip our tassels from the right to the left. 1, 2, 3. Congratulations! Woo! If you are here to pick up your diploma, proceed to the 500 calf, please.